Good morning. It's Saturday morning. Happy New Year to you. We're going to read from Revelation to John chapter 2, verses 8 through 11. And to the angel of the church in Smyrna write, the words of the first and the last who died and came to life. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the slander of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and for 10 days you will have tribulation. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. The one who conquers will not be hurt by the second death. So this letter to the Smyrnans fits the same pattern that we looked at with the first letter, except that there is no judgment in it. There's no, this I have against you here. We just have encouragement to be faithful. And not to be scared, not to be fearful. So it's a little different situation. But when we put all of these 7 letters together, we see sort of comprehensive advice for the whole church, and that's part of what's going on here. And there's a Smyrna in Tennessee and a Smyrna in Georgia and who knows how many other places. They're all named after this Smyrna, okay? So that's one of the things that's going on. He says, don't worry about those who are Jews, but are not really Jews. They're a synagogue of Satan. So things get kind of polarized here in Revelation. This is later this is very close to the end of the 1st century, and so things are a little different than they were when Paul was writing. But he says, don't fear, don't be afraid, and that's the key to this whole book, is not to be scared of it. If somebody's using Revelation to make you afraid, then they're misusing it. I remember one time in high school in the mid-70s, one of the radio stations in Greenville put on a broadcast one morning that was a fictional broadcast taken from a certain interpretation of Revelation. It was kind of like those Left Behind books were made into a radio script. And it was just played as though it was happening. And people were terrified everywhere. They finally had to break in and say, folks, this is all fiction. This is not happening. It was kind of like when they read The War of the Worlds in New Jersey back in the 30s over the radio, and terrified everybody who just happened to break in and hear some of it. Revelation should not make you afraid. It should give you reassurance. Don't be afraid. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how many enemies come and attack us, we're going to be okay. That's really the message here, that it may be bad, but don't worry, don't be afraid. Be faithful unto death, and then you will receive the crown of life. And that's the promise, not only of this little piece, but of the whole book. And that's something that we need to remember. So that is the second letter to the church in Smyrna. Tomorrow we read about Pergamum. And I hope that you have a great Saturday and Sunday, and we'll see you Monday morning.